Welcome, everybody. They say that we're leaving Europe. Well, those English football sides are staying in Europe, aren't they?
Yeah, they're voting with their feet.
Absolutely.
And their goals.
I hadn't thought about how that might affect English teams in the Champions League.
We haven't, Jim, we have not. We've only got 45 minutes.
Yeah, all 4 teams disqualified, straight to semi-finals. Everyone's got a bye to the next round. Oh, my giddy. I'll tell you something. I think, it's been since about 2009 since we've had this amount of English teams in the quarterfinals?
It's all right.
I think so.
I feel like,
La.
yeah, it's either 08 or 09. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's been a while.
Pete. 4.
Yeah.
4 of them.
Count them now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly 4. Yeah, you know it. You've obviously been aware of the situation. Liverpool joined Manchester United and Spurs.
What an impressive win as well.
Didn't Bayern Munich look so slow and plodding?
They did.
Yeah.
It looked like when a band come back and perform a classic album 30 years later.
What, everything seems a bit slower?
Yeah, and they got back.
You're older,
No.
they're older.
Minus the whole nostalgia, and isn't it nice to see them again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just happy they're back together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice that Bayern aren't firing on all cylinders, the home fans would be saying.
I also want to know what the mindset is of Mr. Franck Ribéry,
Yes.
who is 35 years old, I checked, and has a number 7 shaved into the side of his head. And not only that, then gets subbed off during a big Champions League knockout game. You just think, mate, why are you getting a number 7 shaved in your side of your 35? I'm looking at you, Pete. I know you would do that.
He had a very good game last game, though, hadn't he? He'd provided a couple of assists.
But even
they beat Wolfsburg 6-0.
Yeah, but didn't he recently?
Yeah, well,
exactly.
fair enough.
Didn't he recently get in trouble because he was really bullish about having eaten a giant golden steak?
Yeah, with Salt Bay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so
Salt
it's
Bay.
very much
He
sort of
told
in
everyone to
character,
do themselves or something.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed. There was a tweet going around showing. I think it was Joshua Kimmich, was it, who very much celebrated in Mane's face at Anfield when he tackled him.
Right.
And it was have some of that, in a really sort of wanky way.
Yeah.
And Mane's, I can't imagine Mane ever getting involved in a bit of chat or a bit of nastiness.
Gets involved in some goals, mate.
Well, hasn't he?
10 in 10.
that first goal.
Yeah,
A beauty.
The
What's
more
Neuer
you see
doing?
it, the better it gets. Yeah. That's
Neuer-
going for a little jog.
Neuer's been involved in some sort of body swap comedy.
I think so. Yeah. If you're an away side in the Champions League and you're in the situation Liverpool were in, drawn 0-0 the first leg, and you get a goal, they need to score 2 and all that. That's exactly what you want the opposition goalkeeper to be doing.
100%. And Mane is on the left side of the penalty area as he's facing the goal. Defenders covering him. And if the keeper just, as Owen Hargreaves rightly said in the broadcast, keeper stays in the goal, there's not really any danger at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like Manuel Neuer thought, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm the front runner of these sweeper keepers. Yeah, I'm the original and the best. I love you, baby, the original, and this is this sort of thing I would do.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it.
Do you think maybe though that Mane had so much to do to score from there, and he happened to execute it perfectly?
Oh, it was amazing.
Maybe
Yeah,
Neuer
It was
thinking that he's not going to be able to do
It was a
that.
very good finish. Everyone got very excited about the touch, and I thought the touch was pretty ordinary, but the finish I thought was just steering it past 2 players on the line. I thought it was wonderful.
I thought they're both good. I don't think the touch
Equally
was
good.
I don't think you've ever done a touch like that in your whole life, and you play football every week.
I don't play football every week, but I reckon on occasion I've done something good by accident.
Fair enough.
I love how that was like an ace up your sleeve. Well, you've never done anything like that. You play football. I don't play football every week.
I play once a fortnight, actually.
I have done that
And that's
before.
why I've never had one of those touches. If I'd played more,
And I never get off the bench.
There is something really horrible about doing something brilliant by accident, and everyone thinks you did it on purpose. I scored the sweetest header I've ever scored in my life once, and I didn't even know about it. And everyone was like, that was amazing.
I've done that before.
I can't feel good about it.
I remember there's a guy who is literally still plays football now, and he was born in 1966, and he played for our Sunday League team. Still plays
Good year for
pretty
English
regularly. Ancient chap. And
Ancient chap.
And he came over. He's a German doctor.
We've played with him before.
Jens, we know
he came
Jens.
and
He wears the glasses with the thing on it.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
He's still playing.
Good on him.
And
Good old
he came over and he
Jens.
went, "You're scoring goals like an angel, Pete."
Really?
It was
So
wonderful.
he's 53 years old now.
Yeah, crazy.
It's not ancient, is it?
have we
He
had a
plays on the wing.
Hey, he's-
Keeping you at the team.
Yeah, massively.
He's the oldest winger in town.
Yeah.
Have we got an update on Dickie Borthwick?
Yeah, he was there. No, and I think we all know the inevitable catches up with us all in the end. Dickie Borthwick, a 78-year-old football player
Oh,
who,
about 6 years ago, 78.
who we talked about 12 years ago. He may have gone the way of the...
Great name, though.
Yeah, definitely.
We need more
What were you
Dickie
going to say
Borthwicks
there? The
in football.
dinosaurs.
He may have gone the way of some other people who have
Keepers
died.
not wearing gloves.
Yeah.
But it was a great win for Liverpool nonetheless.
It was.
Old JK getting one over his old rivals.
It played into their hands because as soon as that goal happened, as you rightly alluded to there,
yeah.
Bayern had to come out, and then they didn't really create any chances across the two legs, did they? That's simple as that.
It was very, very disappointing from them, and that's I always thought Liverpool were fine at 0-0 at Anfield. Thought they'll win on away goals. They didn't need the away goals because they really were fairly comfortable.
It was like the entire tie saved itself for the second half of the second leg.
Yes.
Yeah, I almost
Everything
thought,
happened there.
I almost kind of thought that because Liverpool scored their own goal, I was thinking that took some of the impetus or the onus away from their opposition because they were like, oh, we haven't even scored a bloody goal.
I mean, I think, was it Lewandowski behind him? He
He would have tapped it in.
Oh, he would
I
have
think
done, yeah.
I think that the team would have got more out of Lewandowski put it in.
I know what you mean.
Than the Liverpool.
I agree with that. Lewandowski, the highest scoring foreign footballer ever to have played in the Bundesliga.
Is
And I
that
think
right?
he's the top scorer in the Champions League this season. Well, he was going into this game.
Yeah, you see.
Hmm.
He's still a good player.
Hmm.
He's still a good
We'll
player.
go
But
into
yeah,
this round.
remarkable though. All four English sides are through though. And they could draw each other. We could have a Manchester derby in the quarterfinal.
Yeah,
At the
how
time
would
of
you guys-
recording, of course, the draw hasn't been made.
How would you guys prefer to see that fall? I'd like them to
Don't
be kept
care.
apart.
I would.
I love quarter-final Champions League. It's always brilliant. So whatever happens, happens. I think, as ever, Man City are more likely to be undone by another English team.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and in fact, I think that's true of probably all of them bar Liverpool, I would say.
Spurs to knock out Manchester City in the quarterfinals.
Be sweet for Spurs fans, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there you are. That is a prediction that won't happen. Wolves face Manchester United. Perhaps going to be a more keenly contested match than the previous one we just spoke about. Wolves nearly beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, of course. No, they're capable of beating or competing at least against the bigger boys. The last time they won the FA Cup was in 1960. The last time they won a major trophy was in the League Cup in 1980. They beat, I think it was Nottingham Forest 1-0. Who scored the goal?
Steve Bull.
No, it wasn't Steve Bull.
Steve Bull.
It was Steve
Pete,
Bull.
you have a go.
Was it Stephen Bull?
No, it was Andy Gray.
Was it really?
Randy.
1980 is a great year for football.
Was it?
I was born.
I wasn't there to see it.
No, you weren't. None of you were, because I'm the oldest. You wouldn't believe that, but I am.
Do we give Wolves a chance? I think we do.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we
of course,
do.
definitely.
it's a big carrot for both teams, isn't it? A Wembley appearance, because obviously Wolves are having such a great season. They'd like to sort of, have a bit of a cherry on top of that. And obviously the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer effect is so galvanising at Man United. They'll be confident at Wembley and they'll want to get there.
Jim, let's get this right.
Yeah.
Man United have had an amazing tradition in the FA Cup since Louis van Gaal won it in 2016.
Yep.
They need to honour that man's. He's retired this year.
He has.
They need to honour that man's memory as a football coach by trying to replicate the amazing things he achieved.
And what they have achieved, they have won a treble since then. A treble.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
They've won more trophies than you might think in the last few years, actually.
Whenever if you listen out for this, it's quite funny. Whenever you hear Danny Murphy on the radio, back at the start of the century, Liverpool won 3 cups: FA Cup, League Cup, and the UEFA Cup.
Right.
Yeah. He always refers to that as the treble.
The treble.
Yeah, when we won the treble with Liverpool.
I mean, he should say a treble. Even
should-
Mourinho
It's
was
very
like
much
a treble.
a treble, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Man United, they could have a cheeky double
Yeah.
this season with the
The
FA Cup and the Champions League.
League, yeah.
Would you call it a cheeky double if it's if it's involved the
But
Champions
the thing is,
League?
traditionally, the double. This is the thing. For me, the double, and
FA
I'm sure
Cup
for you,
and League,
yes, has to be
Yeah.
the treble, FA Cup, League Cup, and
Champions League,
and Premier League. That's traditionally the
FA Cup, League Cup, and Premier League.
Yeah.
Nah, domestic treble. You
Yeah.
have to
oh,
use
of course,
the word domestic.
domestic treble.
Paris Saint-Germain have won a domestic treble. Celtic have won a lot of domestic trebles
under
recently.
Big Brendy.
Under Big Brendy.
So so a treble, Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League. Domestic treble is you've made it
Because
obvious.
the reason why you have to say domestic treble is because when Juventus and I think Bayern going for a treble, they don't have. I don't think they have. I don't think in Italy they have that second domestic cup competition that they do here. That we do
Right.
here. So
Right.
a treble is unanimously considered
It's not the same.
as your 2, and then the big one.
But anyway, I think Wolves have got a chance, especially at home.
Yeah.
I mean, Man United have come off the back of
Uh-huh.
an amazing turnaround in the Champions League, but also they were beaten. I guess they had their chances, but Arsenal looked fairly comfortable. Arsenal are a good team at home, so Man United need to go to Wolves and do something. And Wolves have really just seem like a really confident, quite pacey, tempo-led team at home.
I think they're going to test Man United, but I think Wolves are a bit spotty in form their last few games. And they beat Cardiff 2-0, I think, but they've kind of lost against Huddersfield.
They nearly beat Chelsea though. It was only a bit of hazard magic at the end.
They've got And Herrera coming back from Man United as well, which would be a big lift for them.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be back, wouldn't you? And Mata as well. Ashley Young is suspended, so a bit bitty. But again, against Arsenal, I know what you mean, but they did create chances and they should have scored at least. And another day they might have got a point or even all three. Big news coming out of West Ham.
Dig of the season? Is this dig of the season by the Irish Football Association?
I could be. Declan Rice has been named
incredible.
Ireland's Young Player of the Year.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone.
Been named in the England squad.
That's better than Leeds United's Twitter profile page because they've just been digging everyone all season. They've been very good.
I think this is along the lines of Jose Mourinho giving Scott McTominay Manager's Player of the Year. It's similar, isn't it?
It is, but I think that's done. The Ireland one is done with much more humour.
Yeah, true.
Whereas I think Mourinho is doing,
Making a point.
Yeah, all that bollocks. Yeah.
Is the point that he's now lost his job?
Well, I mean, he has lost. Yeah.
Was he fuming about Zizou? Do you think?
Oh,
Yeah, because there was a lot of talk that he was about to go back to Madrid.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
I can imagine.
And he said because he seldom
there was,
does,
yeah, cool, that's my
seldom does
point.
he comment on stuff that really isn't that true or that he doesn't want to happen.
Yeah.
So if he wants it to happen, he said, "I'm still really proud that the Real Madrid fans still sing my name and all this kind of stuff." It was ramping up, and Perez said that he wanted him, and then the ball just went no. Well, we got.
Do you not remember?
Yeah,
I love the idea of
we've
him,
got Zinedine Zidane there.
of him flipping open his laptop in the morning and seeing a headline saying Star announced as return to Real Madrid as manager. And you're thinking, oh, hello, hang on a minute.
I haven't even got a call
on the phone to George Mendes. Oh, it's who?
Well done, George.
Yeah.
I would have preferred it had he looked and David Moyes got the job instead.
Yeah. Champions League win return. Real Madrid return. Doesn't work.
Yes, West Ham, they're playing Huddersfield. You'd fancy the home side with their New England starlet. We presume that's what he's going to go on to do. Declan Rice in the side of the England squad. Have you seen it, chaps?
Have.
Wan-Bissaka missed out.
I thought that was a very strange decision, personally.
Yeah.
I can understand that Southgate wants to be loyal to his players and that he may not want to play Wan-Bissaka.
Yes.
But to not have him in the squad, I think, he's been absolutely standout.
He's picked 3 right backs as well. I suppose Kyle Walker could well be in there as a centre back. But yeah, I guess, is it about squad harmony though? He doesn't want to make one of those players think that they might be being frozen out.
Well, let's pick Bobby Charlton then.
Let's have Dickie Balthwick in there.
As yet uncapped.
Is squad harmony related to squad freshness, the rapper from the World Cup?
Your rap name.
My rap name.
I think there's a bit of a loyalty involved, and we've seen it. He did it with Jake Livermore. Livermore wasn't really a going concern for the England team, but he said, look, he's helped us out when we needed him. It's the right thing to do, and I understand that. And squad harmony is very important to him. I didn't mean to undermine you, but you put Kieran Trippier in there. I mean, he's been awful. He's been dreadful in the big games this season, and he's still in there now. And Ruben lost his cheek, Marcus.
Yeah,
not playing. He's just. I like him. He's a good player, and he seems like a lovely chap. But he's not playing football matches.
No.
So why is he in the England team?
I know what you mean. With regards
to anticipating that he will possibly move or just get some game?
But he can't move.
No, but
yeah,
and especially with Chelsea with their embargo and all the rest of it, they're not going to. They'd be mad to sell him. I think with Wan-Bissaka, Southgate would have said to him, "Look, I'm not picking you now, but you're definitely future plans." Blah 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 blah.
But he's played youth team for other nations.
Yeah, well, that's the
problem.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
You've got to be very very careful. I think with Kieran Trippier, he's not had a good season. I think any Spurs fan or otherwise would tell you that. And I think Southgate, it depends really. Depends if he thinks that it's to the detriment of squad harmony, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, I think Southgate could have said to Trippier, look, I'm leaving you out now.
Find your form again.
Exactly, find your form, but you're in my plans if you can do that, and get Bissaka. I was surprised to be perfectly honest with you. With Loftus-Cheek, he obviously believes in him. It's quite simple. Yeah. I mean, we saw him feature in some of the friendlies, the big friendlies before the World Cup. We saw him feature in the World Cup. Southgate knows the player, and he obviously thinks that this guy has got a future, a big future, especially in the England side and whatnot. Lingard and Winks are out, so he can, bring in 1 or 2. I think it was too early for Ward-Prowse. I know he's played well in the last few games, scored a couple of nice free kicks and whatnot, but I wasn't that surprised that he wasn't in there.
I suppose to defend Gareth, he may feel like, you know what, Trippiers not had a brilliant season in the big games. He's been wanting. Not that. I was just going to go down the road of, but Southgate maybe thinks, well, I know what he can do for me.
Yeah.
And we're playing Czech Republic and Montenegro. That's not the same as playing, I don't know, Man City or whatever.
Of course.
We will have enough. And I know exactly what he can do, and I can rely on him.
You can't be too fickle because Kieran Trippier was one of England's best players at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't that long ago. So, yeah, you got to remember, you don't want to, as I say, be too fickle as a manager. Just be like, right,
People
I'll drop
questioning
you.
Pickford in goal for crying out loud because he loses his head over it too many times.
Oh, big Tom Eaton's in there, mate.
Nice to say.
Yeah.
Hey, and I think he's number 2 now.
Yeah,
Can't
well,
just
he must
keep
be.
Can
He
you
has to
just
be.
keep on rotating though?
He's playing in the Prem now, mate.
You give him like two.
Not
You
like
give an
Butters.
England goalkeeper like 2 seasons, then you're like, oh, he's done. He's a busted flush. Joe Hart, get out.
Who are you talking about, Burnley or England?
No, I'm talking about England. Yeah,
But
you
Joe
need-
Hart's
No,
not
Joe
very
Hart's-
good, is he?
Joe Hart's gone. He's
he
not.
was very good.
For a bit.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was. But I
exactly.
mean, Joe Hart's not involved in England. In the
Do we just
setup
eat
anymore.
up? Do we just eat up goalkeepers and go, just get out?
Would you want?
1 year you get, and then you're out. It's like a boy band.
Do you want David James back? Or something? I don't know.
That's not how boy bands work, is it?
I think
Gary
you-
Barlow still in Take That.
All right, I'm thinking of the
K-pop bands. He's in
Yeah.
there.
All right, K-pop and J-pop bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we eat goalkeepers?
No,
Do
yeah.
we eat goalkeepers?
It's a fair question, Jim, and one that no one else has got the balls to ask.
Goalkeeper eaters.